Well, I was going to say good morning, and then I realized actually it might only be morning for me. So hello, everybody. Let's choose a different word. Words are incredibly important to me. One of the main belief systems that I have is that if every word we spoke cost $2 and every word we spoke cost $1, we would probably say a lot less. So I am very appreciative that I have half an hour to spend with you, and I'm not going to waste it on insignificant words. And hopefully halfway through, you might have some questions. I will see what they are and see if I can answer them. And at the end, I will have some questions and see if I can answer those then as well. But for now, it's about sitting and being incredibly present as you can be, whilst you might be in the middle of finishing work or being called on the phone or your kids running in the room. It's all about being as present as we can for this half an hour now, so that at the end of it, maybe, just maybe, there'll be something that I have triggered in your thought process, in your mind, to make you do something slightly differently to the way that you do it now. Now, I was on here last year, had a wonderful session, and this year I've chosen to talk about something slightly different. I've chosen one of my favorite words, simplicity. A lot of people like to use the word minimalism or minimalist, and I think that's a great word. But I actually like simplicity because to me, it's the opposite of the word chaos. And I have been fortunate enough through choices I've made to remove chaos from my life and live a very simple life. Now, you're probably wondering what my backdrop is here. So obviously it's a real backdrop. You know, this is real stuff. I actually live on a boat. So I really simplified my life, and I'm going to tell you about how I did that and why. I'm also going to talk about it in the creative space as a film director and how I did that and how I've given myself the space to do more with my days. And I'm going to start by telling you a story. I love stories. I think we should all either tell stories or be told a story every single day. In fact, even though I live on a boat, I am surrounded still by books, actually tangible books. I will reach across, and you can see I even have some here. Do you see? So this story, many of you might know it. And if you do already know it, it doesn't matter that I'm saying it again, because I'm probably saying it in a slightly different way. And it's always good to have those reminders, even though we think we've learned something. Sometimes everything comes into our minds and it gets forgotten about. So I'm going to tell you the abridged version of this. Once upon a time, there was an American conglomerate businesswoman of the year who had been working for 50 years to get to where she is, the top of her game. And she decided to go on holiday. Now, it's not really a proper holiday because, you know, she still had all the emails coming in, all the phone calls coming in, but she changed her venue from her actual office building to this beautiful beach in the middle of nowhere. Now, she'd been there for a couple of days and she had seen a fisherman arrive in the morning, get onto his little boat and go out, catch a couple of fish. He was gone for a couple of hours. He'd come back. He would go and sell one of the fish. And then the other fish, he would cook. So at about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, his whole family came down to the beach. They brought their chairs, their tables, their comfy picnic blankets. Some of them bought salads, some of them bought the dessert, and they all joined together to eat and celebrate this fish. Now, this didn't just happen over a half an hour lunch period and then they went off back to work. Over the course of 4 or 5 hours, people would turn up, they would talk, they would celebrate with each other. And this happened every single day. So after about a week, this businesswoman went up to this fisherman and said, listen, I love what you do. I think it's great. You know, I'm just over here for a while, but I am a very successful businesswoman. I've got a plan for you. I've got a proposal. And she'd laid out this whole proposal for him. And it basically ran like this. If you decide to go out, double the amount of time each day, so you go out for 4 hours instead of the 2, and you do that for a month and a half, 2 months, you're going to get double the amount of fish, which means you can then earn double the amount when you sell them at market. After a couple of months of doing that, what you'll have enough money to do is to buy another boat. You could then get one of your friends to come onto that boat and you'll take 2 boats out. Over about the period of 3 or 4 months, she said, you will have enough fish to actually buy a small little fleet of boats. So we're talking probably a year down the line. After you've done that, you can go out for longer in the day. You'll have more fish. Actually, you'll be able to go and buy one of those buildings over there and have that as your own warehouse. So you can bring the fish in, sort them out, get them to market, deliver to bigger places. After about 5 years, you would actually be able to get 2, 3, 4 warehouses. You'll have 2, 3, 4 fleets. You then don't even need to go out on the boats. You could send everybody else and you could buy that office building over there. Probably, this could take you, I don't know, another 10 years, but maybe 15 years in, 20 years in, what you'll be able to do is you won't even need to be in your fisherman's outfit. You will be able to go to that office. Everyone's running it for you. You just have phone calls to do. You just have emails to make. And at the end of the day, you've got this amazing conglomeration. Probably, about 30 years later, she said, you could probably think of retiring where you would then be able to wake up every morning, go and get a fish, bring it back for lunch, meet with your family, have a wonderful afternoon, spending time with them and enjoying these wonderful pleasures we have in life. Obviously, that's a slightly abridged version, an extreme version, but I think we get the concept. He was already there. And when we look at our lives and we think that we're trying to get to somewhere, we kind of tend to add chaos. We think it's all about adding more. We need more. We want to do more. We want to go to more things. We want to bring more people into our world. When actually, it might just be the opposite. So let me give you my example with this. So I live on a boat. I live on a boat and I wake up every morning, which is always a good thing. I'm very grateful for that. And I am able to say good morning to my ducks. I have 2 ducks and I have my baby Maltese. And I look out at my view and I go to the restrooms and the shower that are actually in the yacht club, because I don't use the one on my boat. I turn that into a walk-in wardrobe. I come back here and get creative and work on my next film. I'm currently in pre-production, start filming in 10 days' time. And I will work on that. I will have some meetings. I will meet with my DP. I will get creative. I will take myself off for an artist walk, an artist date. I will see my daughter and I might meet a friend. And at the end of the day, I get to watch the sunset and fall asleep in my lovely little V-berth bed, which is behind here. And my day varies. I have a lot of things that go on, but I choose to do that. And now the other day, somebody said to me, so, when you're doing this, are you saving your money? Are you going to get a bigger boat? I said, no, I don't need a bigger boat. Well, I can only sit on one chair at a time. I've got 4 around this table, and am I, going to be like, is it Goldilocks and the 3 bears? Or I'm not sure which bed is right. I have 1 bed. I have 2 armchairs, and I have a beautiful deck to sit outside. Do I need a bigger boat? No, because it would take longer to clean or to look after. I need to buy more for it. I actually only just recently got myself a car because I shared it with my daughter, and I bought a VW camper van. And again, I bought it to be my office space because as a storyteller, I actually go off to lots of people and I have a lot of, they're not called clients, they're called stars. And I go off to my stars and they sit in there and we do our sessions together. And so that was adding something more to my life anyway, but I had to look at it and say, actually, it's okay because I do need to have a vehicle. So that's all right. The simplicity that I have created around me allows me to have more mental space up here to put into the things that really matter. the family that really matter, the friends that really matter, the work that really matters. I now don't need to put my energy and time into things that just don't matter to me. Now, I'm not saying everybody here should suddenly go and live on a boat and get rid of everything they own. That's not what I'm preaching. But I think it's good if we look at it and we look at how we spend our time. Just like our words, our time is valuable. So if we are spending that time on something that we don't want to, or we're being forced to, do we want to look back and have those regrets? So this morning when I went into the shower, my head had space to sit there and go, okay, what do I need to do with this script now? Where can I take it? What are these ideas? I wasn't sitting there thinking, okay, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? How am I going to spend my day? Do I need to clean that today? What do I need to do? And the pleasure I get from doing the things that I have, like cleaning my car, is huge. There's a lot of pride in that. So I'm not saying suddenly you can't clean things. But I will tell you, in 3 years, I haven't had to clean a shower or a bathroom or a restroom because I use it and it's cleaned spotlessly every day. So again, it's about looking at alternatives in the way we do things. So this first section of the session, I wanted to just ruminate on 3 concepts. The concept of the words that we speak and how valuable they are. How valuable our time is and what we put our time into. And whether right now, whilst you're sitting there, there are any little shifts that you might be able to do, changes that you might be able to make, just tweaks in certain things, just whilst you're sitting here now, just readdressing what you do. So maybe we'll just see if there are any questions right now before I go on to my next stage. Let's see. Any questions?
You can always ask a question in the chat, or I can change the setting to allow you to unmute yourself if you want to ask one audibly as well.
I'll just give just 30 seconds to see if anybody wants to. There's a lot to take in. It's kind of, oh wow, that's a lot of process. I've got to sell my castle and I've got to live on a boat.
So John Thomas Dodson is asking, what made you choose a boat?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because actually the word choose is a very important word, a choice. And I am very much with the philosophy that I let things actually almost choose me as well, because I give myself that space. So one of the situations that I pride myself on is that when I make a decision to do something, I put it out there and then generally the right thing will happen. And one of those was the boat. I lived in a tiny little beach cottage in LA with my daughter, and I realized we needed an extra space, and I didn't know what that space could look like. Maybe it was a garage, maybe it was a studio, maybe it was an office, maybe it was, I didn't know. So I put this concept into the world, and I started to look up mobile homes and things like that on the internet. And I also know the way I work is that if something is too far for me to go to, or there is too much that I need to do to get to that thing, then I won't do it, because I don't need to add that chaos into my life. And this boat came up. This boat was a 2-minute walk from my house. So what I did was I emailed that night. I know nothing about boats. It's not in my family. I mean, I don't even take it out. You know, I live on it. So it has glass and pots and things. And I called up the harbour. Nobody answered. So I walked round, and the harbour man said, actually, I know the person that's on this boat. I know he wants to sell it. I'll call him. I'm not supposed to. And I'll see if he wants to come down right now. So I walk onto the boat. And I said, so does it, you know, I didn't say, does it work? I said, do you like living on this? Did you enjoy it? He said, it's lovely. I said, is there anything I should know that's not good? He said, no, it's all good. It's all good. I think it was a matter of 5 minutes. And my daughter, when I left the house, said, Mummy, don't buy it straight away. You know, let's think about it. I said, I'm not going to buy it straight away. I don't know anything about boats. So I then called her and I said, Isabella, could I have my social security number, please? She said, you've bought it, haven't you? I said, yes. So I'm walking back and I called my mother, and my mother said, well, does it work? I said, I don't know. I didn't ask that question. So I quickly called him and the engines work and everything, but that's not what it's for. So a lot of people found it bizarre that I'd bought a boat, because people think of it as the best day is the day you buy it, and then the second best day is the day you sell it, because they look at it as a boat. Whereas I look at things in a different way. I looked at this boat as a home, as a space. Did it work for that? Did it feel good and right for that? And the energy. And living on the water by the water is one of my favorite things. So it was just the right thing to do, but probably extreme. But I have no regrets 3 years later. Any other questions before I move on? Okay, shall I carry on then? So I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to talk to you about an incident that happened to me 3 weeks ago, because I think this is, again, a very relevant concept for everybody. We have busy lives. We have a lot that we fit into them, whether we're parents, whether we're married, whether we are the children of our parents. We have families, friends, events. And again, the word simplicity was something of a foreign concept to me a couple of years ago, because I believed my life was simple by being on the boat, but yet I filled it still with a lot of other stuff. Then the great pause happened, and we all reshifted and refocused our energy. And I was able to remove things, the chaos from my life. But now we're back into a situation where normality is starting to take hold again, a new normal, a new version of that. Therefore, are we going to all go back into getting into these bad habits? Well, 3 or 4 months ago, I was in a situation where I believed I'd dealt with everything that we'd been working on and working towards, and the great pause. And then 3 or 4 things hit me, 1 month after the other. But again, I believed I'd dealt with them at the time. And then 3 weeks ago, I suffered 3 herniated discs, an annular tear, and a sprained muscle, a pulled muscle in my leg. And I am one of the most active people, you'll know. I paddleboard, I get on my boat, off my boat and paddleboard, and I walk everywhere. So this was hugely debilitating for me, hugely debilitating. And I couldn't understand why it had happened, because I felt that my body didn't need to tell me to stop or slow down. But what had happened was, even though I dealt with things, they had still affected me. And I hadn't given myself enough time to continue to deal with them. So this is all about listening to our bodies, listening to what we do to our bodies, and prioritizing ourselves. Because again, we have a lot of other things that go on in our day-to-day existence, and we need to listen to ourselves. We need to listen to our bodies. And some people might go, oh yes, well, you just hurt your back because you lifted things, or you hurt your back because you just did too much. And of course, there is medical proof of why I've damaged my back, because I did do that. But also listening to it and saying, what does this mean now? Is this a warning sign for me? Is this a warning sign for me to stop, to breathe, to remove anything else from my life? What do I need to do? What do I need to engage with? And it's never a bad time to reassess your life. So that's what I'm trying to get across to you. If something like that happens, it's a big shift and a moment of, oh my gosh, I need to do things. But maybe we all need to look at things every few weeks, every couple of months, and reassess for ourselves what it is we do in our days before the body tells us, before something else comes in. And there's no harm in doing that. There's no harm in looking at how you live your life. Have I suddenly brought some chaos in? Has it crept in without me realizing it? What do I put my energy into? What do I want to put my energy into? Can I simplify my life? This simplicity. So that wake-up call each day, work out, how much time do I put into social media? How much time do I put into making those phone calls? How much time do I put into cleaning? Where do I want to prioritize? What do I want to look at? And simplicity isn't just about your physicality. It's about up here. It's about having your filing cabinets in your head, not overflowing. It's about having them breathing, having some space so that you can fill and take out and fill and take out. So I just want to leave that as a final thought with everybody. Also, I would like to just let you know that I am on social media. I actually don't do my own very often, but I check it. I try to give myself once or twice a week to look at it only and give myself the time off. But it's Medicine with Words, at Medicine with Words, and medicinewithwords.com. I'm also at Elizabeth_B_T and at Mother and Daughter Ent. So I have several, but I'm available everywhere. I joke to people and say I'm available on all platforms. So please feel free to reach out, ask me any questions, any film related. My book, Filmmaking Without Fear, is available on Amazon, and my podcast, Filmmaking Without Fear. And my actual second book, Living Without Fear, will be coming out at the end of the year.